Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So we have some news of Module 30. Brett Norton, the executive producer, announced just yesterday that the update is indeed in development and will be a little bit apart from their normal work. They will be working on a few class updates. Primarily, Warlock Hellbringer, the damage dealer path, is going to be the main focus of their improvements, but they will look at some small fixes to rangers, fighters and clerics. This is definitely going to be some good news for warlocks, as they've been the underdogs for quite some time, at least in single target damage output. However, those of you who are rogues and bard songblades may be experiencing that you're a tad overperforming compared to the others, and so they might be looking at some small changes to bring their performance slightly down, so they're a bit closer to how the barbarian blade master performs. And my tests do confirm that at the very least, Bard and Rogue Whisper Knife are doing quite a bit better than, say, Barbarian. And so we should see a bit more of a level playing field if they're toned down to such, and it shouldn't hurt them that badly at all. So I wouldn't worry so much if you're currently playing that class. However, they do also say they might look at wizards to ensure they're not too consistent, given they have high range and effective radiuses on many of their powers. I'm not so sure what that's about. Sure, wizards are great, they're nice and reliable, but I don't think they're overperforming really. Perhaps with their utility, the capability of having a lot of CC along with area damage and high uptime and ease of play with single target damage, that might lead them to, look at maybe they're too consistent. Perhaps he means they're too easy to play, and so they want to at least make a bit more of a challenge with that. Because yes, if you definitely look at this list, all of these top ones here are quite hard to play, except say Whisper Knife and Bard. I mean, they have their quirks, but compared to Thom, you spam out all your abilities and you do good damage, pretty much. There's no maintaining songs, no timing your stealth, no timing your rotation with Cleric. You just push your buttons and your powers do their thing. You can have a little bit of an order with them, but in the end of the day, it's not exactly a challenging class to play. Their tab power here is not exactly unique, just giving them the ability to slot in another power. But yeah, this is what they announced, and there will be other updates to existing content and features, but we'll have to wait a bit to hear more about those. It is definitely good to see Warlock getting some attention, as the damage dealer path was underperforming significantly in single target. Now the devs did go and create a feedback thread where you can leave your feedback about the current state of the Warlock Hellbringer and what you feel needs adjusting and what, say, the current issues are with playing the class. He already did state that it's unlikely cast times will be changed, which are, to be honest, the most annoying thing I find with the Warlock. The cast times just feel too long, but they're more likely to just give magnitude updates and a little bit of a rework to certain mechanics. We can see a bit more of insights to their approach. So they would start with like Soul Scorch, having their magnitude substantially updated. They want the mechanic to feel more impactful. Soul Sparks will now be more consistently generated on at-wills. Single target powers will be getting some updates, mostly magnitude increases. They feel Killing Flames is spot on, but the other abilities just are very lackluster, and I would definitely confirm like Hadder's Grasp. Why is that only 300 magnitude on a single target attack? They will be revising their at-wills a bit more, so they're more universally valuable. Dark Helix will be getting like a substantial update, and then encounter powers are going to largely be updated as per the single target comment above, but they're making some small quality of life changes to a few other powers, like Dread Theft being a power that needed some serious updates, and Infernal Spheres has been substantially updated as well. And then the daily power, Flames of Phlegethos, has been converted to a purely single target daily power, as currently they don't really have any proper single target attack here. All of it is just like a bit of a buff, extra damage, and it only gonna total to like 1200 magnitude regardless of what you use. And Brood of Hagdor is actually bugged to only be like 800 magnitude plus the damage from the imps, and that damage is even then bugged a bit. And they will be looking at feat and feature diversity as well, fixing some general bugs. And then the Soul Puppet and Curse magnitude effects are also on their list to review. We can see some examples here of power updates. So Soul Scorch would go to this kind of magnitudes, which is massively increased from what it currently is here, where you'd have like 12 magnitude per spark. So 72 magnitude was like the minimum, and this is going to be like 150 magnitude now, the minimum. And then the area magnitude damage is going to be significantly improved as well. Here it was like 1.5 magnitude per spark. Now it's going to be like the minimum of 150 magnitude. So that's already a pretty massive improvement. Just I really do not like the cast time of this ability. And then you can see with that daily power being updated to have 2100 magnitude versus what it had with like a multi-target effect at just 1300 magnitude with a little bit of a extra fire effect of 260. So yeah, this is what we can kind of see with what their approach will be. And I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on everything that comes our way. We did get some other notes from the devs, like Coldwater pointing out it might be a little bit overpowered, particularly when you use this feat right here. But Brett does say, be prepared for overpower. They will be testing out these changes and make improvements as needed. Most likely are going to be like overtuning it and then just working on dialing it back as needed. Hopefully that doesn't spill out onto the live server. Otherwise, that could cause a lot of issues for people, especially when they get very disgruntled when the devs go and change some things back, reducing the effectiveness. They did that with Whisper Knife quite a bit. I'm personally fine with it, and as long as you guys are aware things are still like up in the air in development, it's probably okay to you guys as well. Just be aware of that. They take quite some time to finalize things, and even then they can go back in a few months and change it when they feel like it. Of course, their intent is for every class to be viable, and that's exactly why Warlock is getting these updates. It has been falling behind over the past few modules, and so is getting some improvements now. If your class was to fall behind, I'm sure they would work on it as well. You can see more details here with the bug of Brood of Hagdor. But basically it shares the same bug that the Slab of Vecna and other entities have, basically not being affected by the Batiri and not properly being affected by Minsk. And you can see Brett's confirmation of this as well. And it's not just like Slab of Vecna. There are quite a lot of other mounts who summon entities where that doesn't work. So some of those I better check out just to confirm on like Tunnel Vision, Golden Touch, things like that. Is that working properly or not? However, there are a few other things to note. It was asked if, say, Tacticians Precision, the mount insignia bonus, would be looked at before overall class balance was analyzed, because it is a bonus that heavily affects your rotation and thus your damage output. And Brett did say that they're aware of this and discussing. They're not quite happy with the playstyle it's created, but changing it will have a major impact on players' builds, and so they do not want to undertake it lightly. So it could just be something that happens in like months, if not years, if not at all. Just something up for discussion. Because yeah, that insignia bonus does like change how you play your class quite a bit when you get to endgame, and it can be quite a big damage boost on certain classes versus others, especially when a class has a lot of cooldown reduction already versus classes who don't rely on that, and then they get to make use of this. It just throws the balance up in the air so much. So it could be good before they follow through with this that they made that Tacticians Precision change. Otherwise, if they make it afterwards, they would have to re-look at class balance. Because here again, we can already see they'll be looking at the Warlock as we just went over. They will be looking at Rangers, Fighters, and Clerics as well. Hopefully, Clerics just get more of a quality of life improvements and potentially a varying play style that they could play. that might be a bit easier, because currently they can do well. It just takes a lot of effort to do so. And otherwise, fighters can do well, but they are just, in my opinion, quite a bit clunkier to play, a lot more punishing, especially because they don't have much movement. And otherwise, yeah, Ranger with like Hunter and Warden could do with some improvements, particularly with Hunter a little bit to compete with single target damage. As you can see right there, it's kind of the same level on Warlock, but I can also put that down to me not having much practice on that class versus some others. But that's pretty much it for now. We did get some news that the Shadowkai Witch got updated so that her like ball attack works properly, and there was something with the Savage Allosaur as well. I will go and check those out potentially in another video. So once again, thanks for watching. A special thank you to all of these channel members for your extra support, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now. And yeah, to those of you wondering, wasn't Brett Norton supposed to be leaving the company? Well, I don't really have any news on that. Maybe they decided to keep him on and give him a boost in pay, and now he's decided to stay. I personally do say he does a good job. He definitely listens to the community more so than a lot of other past developers. But sure, nobody's record is flawless. They all make mistakes here and there, but it's definitely better to have somebody who communicates with us than devs who do not.